If you went out and asked the average person who, lives a productive, fulfilling life outside of the internet and in the real world what they thought about 4chan, they'd probably describe it as some kind of online hive of villainy filled to the brim with hackers and bad words. The emboldeners of society's worst elements. Terrorizers of many a van and public pool. But the truth is, as far back as you can go, 4chan has always had a little bit of a soft underbelly. And this soft underbelly often manifested itself as a love of cats. And God help anybody who did anything bad to cats. So for this episode of Tales from the Internet, I present to you the story of the cat abuser Kenny Glenn. This episode is sponsored by Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community with over 25,000 classes on design, business, and more. Over the past few months, I've been trying to up my editing game, so I've been taking Jordy Vandeput's class. Learn Adobe After Effects CC 2019 for beginners. Premium membership to Skillshare gives you unlimited access so you can take all the classes you like and join communities of like-minded people to stay motivated and help each other out. And Skillshare has a variety of courses that can fit your needs, whether you're a professional or you're just doing this for fun. Right now, Skillshare is giving away a free 2-month unlimited access trial to my subscribers who click the link in the description. After that, it's only about $10 a month. I want to talk a bit about an old tradition on 4chan, a little something called Catterday. What was Catterday exactly? Well, when Saturday came around, you went to 4chan and you posted cats. Oftentimes with bold white impact font text. Pretty simple, right? And then it spreads to that shitty fucking lolcat site, which is basically all just re-uploaded 4chan content, and you got friends coming to be like, hey dude, you gotta check out this lolcat stuff, it's so random. And then you have Ike and Has Cheeseburger, which comes around and it completes the gentrification of Catterday, but you know what, it wasn't a hill worth dying on 12 years ago. I'm not gonna get hung up on that right now. Back to the point, 4chan liked cats, because who doesn't like cats? And it was on February 15th of 2009 when 4chan's affinity for cats was put to the test, when 2 videos were uploaded to a YouTube channel named Glenn's Spam 1. I'm not going to show you the full videos, but I will describe what happened in them. The videos depict a kid in pajamas and a balaclava going by the name Timmy, and he's holding a little gray cat. While being recorded by another kid, he announces that he's going to be going into his laboratory. Once he's in his laboratory, the kid Timmy grabs the cat named Dusty and repeatedly slams him against the wall. And in the other video, Timmy repeatedly sprays Dusty with an unknown liquid. The videos find their way onto B quickly after being uploaded, where people immediately spring into action trying to figure out who this kid is. Looking through the comments of one of the YouTube videos, the name Mike Glenn emerges. This leads people to find a person named Mike Glenn in upstate New York. And Mike Glenn of upstate New York quickly begins receiving threatening messages. However, Mike Glenn turned out to be a false lead. The harassment got so bad that eventually the local police department had to contact the news to release a statement that Mike Glenn had absolutely nothing to do with these videos. And for a while it seemed like this investigation might have just been a dead end because there was so little that could be found from that YouTube channel. But a little bit more digging led people to another Glenn Spam 1 account, not on YouTube, but on a site called HaitiWow.com. And the Glenn Spam 1 account on HaitiWow.com had a little bit more information. Namely, the zip code 73505, Lawton, Oklahoma. But that still only gives so much information, right? I mean, Lawton, Oklahoma has a population of nearly 94,000 people. What are you gonna do, just go up and knock on every single door? But a few users had a theory that Glenn from Glenn Spam 1 was perhaps Timmy's last name. So they started searching around on Facebook for the perpetrator, and after a little bit of digging, they found someone. Not Timmy Glenn, but a person named Kenny Glenn. But considering how badly things went with the Mike Glenn lead, we needed absolute confirmation that this was the kid. How could such a confirmation be achieved? By comparing frames from the video to pictures on the Facebook page. And by comparing the green carpet, the wood skirting, the yellow wall, and the musical instruments in the background, positive identification was achieved. The Kenny Glenn found on Facebook was in fact Timmy from the video. And once the identity of Kenny Glenn was discovered, 4chan users began to post pictures of themselves and their cats with threats to Kenny Glenn. And other sites began to get in on it. Dig, Reddit, Facebook groups. The websites KennyGlenn.com and NeverForgetDusty.com were created to follow the story and mobilize people against Kenny Glenn. Other people began to dig and found increasingly identifying information about Kenny, including his MySpace profile, old racist YouTube comments, his parents' names, their phone numbers, the names of their businesses, and their home address and home phone number. With the phone number, of course, people began to call, and the first person who got through got Kenny Glenn's mother on the line. After getting on the phone with Kenny Glenn's mother and explaining what her son has done, she said that this was unacceptable and he would face immediate punishment. This punishment would take the form of having his bike taken away. Not exactly a satisfactory outcome. Unsatisfied, people started having pizzas delivered to their house, signing them up for magazine descriptions, and oh yeah, they did call the cops. But the thing is, when the cops got involved, they were given the wrong address, so after that, they started to ignore any more correspondence about the cat. See, the pizzas made their way to the right address, but the police, wrong address. Thankfully, however, the local news also got involved, who contacted the police once again. This time they gave the police the right address, and the next day KSW News of Lawton, Oklahoma reported this. Comanche County. 2 teenage brothers accused of beating a cat will meet Tuesday with investigators and the Comanche County District Attorney. The courthouse was closed Monday for President's Day, but Comanche County Sheriff Kenny Stradley said the teens will face charges of animal cruelty from District Attorney Robert Schultz's office. Stradley says the teens uploaded a video to YouTube that shows one of them beating a cat named Dusty while his brother ran the camera. 7 News called Sheriff Stradley Sunday afternoon to find out if he was investigating the incident, and he said he had not heard about it. He came to the 7 News station and watched the video. Within hours, his team identified the suspects and met with their parents. Stradley says they are furthering their investigation to see if the 2 brothers abused other animals in addition to Dusty. 7 News discovered proof this wasn't the first time they abused the cat. The local sheriff then released another statement. Update. Sheriff Stradley of Lawton, Oklahoma said, "The horrifying day may be over for the cat, but it is just getting started for its abusers. We'll put it together and take it to the DA. It will be up to the DA whether or not he files charges or not. Our job is to put the investigation together as a case and take it to the DA, and that's what we'll do." Stradley says the teens responsible were released to their parents by the DA, and they and their lawyer will meet with investigators to determine their fate on Tuesday. Dusty, the cat, is alive and was taken to a veterinarian where it will remain until the investigation is complete. And during their investigation, it was found that there is actually another video, this time with the Glenn brothers abusing a black and white cat. Both cats were taken into custody and it was said that they would not be returned to the Glenn's home. And a lot of people were really eager to find out about Dusty's status, prompting them to contact the veterinarian, but the veterinarian started to get flooded, prompting KSW News to send a letter to NeverForgetDusty.com. The sheriff is a bit worried about a lot of phone calls being made to the vet. He's concerned about overloading the office that's trying to help Kitty. Dusty's in the care of private vet, don't know who, and the sheriff's not saying. Please tell everyone to keep checking, and the second we have video, it'll be up. We're all quite excited about helping get information up quickly. I also noticed that some folks were concerned about the station not covering the racially charged stuff too, but the focus of the story was Dusty. I appreciate you keeping everything posted and updated. It's hard work, I know. It seems as if everyone scratched everyone's back in this case of abuse. The tubes, the news, authorities. As you must imagine, I'm online all day, and if I see something in our area dramatic like this, I'm all over it. Credit for the coverage on the news should go to our weekend crew, who had they not made the call, the video may not have made it up until Monday. Everyone saved Dusty the cat, and I'm proud of us all. You all are great. Keep up the good fight. We love Dusty too. So what wound up being the fate of the cat abuser Kenny Glenn? A few days later, NeverForgetDusty.com received this anonymous tip. Jan Stratton is the director of news at KSWO, the local news channel. which is updating all the others, except they haven't bothered. Funny that because in small town Lawton, home to the Glens, Jen Stratton is married to Judge William Bill Stratton. And they and their little circle of legal and business types just happen to be best friends with, yes, you guessed it, the Glens. I think this needs to be out there. There isn't going to be justice for Dusty. They are just waiting for it to quieten down and give the boys a slap on the wrist, by which time it will be too late to do anything. The Glens have a lot of power in town. And about a year later, the owner of KennyGlenn.com received another update. Update January 12, 2010. We have just received this troubling piece of information from a trustworthy local source. My name is removed. I live in Lawton, Oklahoma, and I have first-hand knowledge of the fact that the two cats being abused in that video have not gone anywhere but back home to his abuser. I know for a fact that the Glens and Sheriff Stradley are best buddies. I have witnessed Kenny, Christopher Glenn, telling the sheriff that I'll see you when you come over to the house later. Nobody has been punished. The cats are still where they came from in the first place. For personal reasons, I can't give you more info than that. I am just letting you know that absolutely nothing has happened to the animal abuser. The media ordeal was all a big show to make the public think that the abuser got punished. Clearly, this was an outcome that wasn't satisfactory to most of the people following this story. Well, what are you gonna do? Well, a few people came up with the idea of going after his father's oil company. How you can help. Seeing how Kenny Christopher Glenn is currently escaping any punishment, a concerned reader of our website sent us this email outlining a way for ordinary people to help bring Kenny to justice. I have an observation to make. Few have so far noticed the way to permanently punish him would be by punishing his daddy's oil company. Why and how are two questions that come to mind, so let me elaborate. Why? Well, forget the rumors that Ken's pappy Mark was described online as allegedly an abusive, arrogant racist, supposedly involved in shady business practices and corruption. Those are rumors. They may or may not be true, but if the company is hurt financially, then Pappy may decide that there isn't enough money to buy Kenny a new dirt bike, TV, car, especially if it's made clear that the Kenny fallout is the reason for this financial hurt. And an unhappy Pappy Mark will definitely make it clear to Kenny that he's not a happy camper. Essentially, I guess the idea was to make his father so mad that he beats him. How? Well, for starters, just last year the company, Glen Oil, got a $10 million contract with the US government. So, one way would be to read the online documents that mention it. Mark even has a leaflet online where he boasts about one of his big contracts. Find the contact info for the companies and especially the government institutions that let Mark make money and send them information to their managers, their PR departments, the local media, the local congressmen. Simply and politely ask them if they believe it is the right choice to do their business with a company with such bad press, whose name is now almost automatically associated with animal torture, especially in such competitive times of bad economy, when many more deserving companies are ready to make better offers than Mark's company. Mail the directors in the government institution that have the oil contracts with Mark Glenn. Phone the local congressman asking them if it's advisable for taxpayer-supported companies to give their money to tarnished firms. Inform your local media. Send the information to the private companies that have contracts with Pappy Mark. In fact, if you know any companies likely to have oil, gasoline, etc. related contracts, especially in Oklahoma, mail them in advance, just in case Pappy Mark tries to do business with them. Just remember, politeness, facts, information, punish Kenny through the Pappy's wallet. This is probably the most 2009 attempt at internet activism that I've ever seen, and I'm pretty sure it didn't actually have much of an effect. I kind of doubt that anyone even said anything to these companies. And as far as I could tell, Glen Oil is still doing well. But that still doesn't answer the question of what actually did happen to Kenny Glenn, and honestly, I can't give you a 100% verified answer. However, In 2016, a Reddit user emerged claiming to be Kenny Glenn. The first thing the account did was respond to a thread discussing the idea of preventatively detaining animal abusers due to their likeliness of eventually becoming serial killers. Kenny Glenn here. Still haven't killed anyone, but I'll keep you posted. A few months later, he would go on to do an AMA. Kenny Glenn here, AMA. 8 years ago, I did something horrific, but there are many misconceptions about what actually happened and who I am that I would like to clear up. And one of the top rated responses simply asking him to explain himself. I'm gonna put it out there and say, as a massive cat fan, it upsets me to think about what happened. But at the same time, you have balls coming on here. Why? What I did was wrong. I made a mistake, but my life should not be defined by it. That is not who I am. I am here to clear any misconceptions about me and somehow show that I am not a monster. Dude, I admire you taking the hit for what you did and still putting yourself out there. That takes guts, and it's a measure of how much of a decent human you can be, by what I'm going to assume is a barrage of questions soon enough. Though my life should not be defined by it is a difficult one these days. It's on the net, and it will be for a long time to come. I think that saying from years ago doesn't work in today's world. Fun facts not reported and misconceptions. I did not hurt Dusty. It was all for show, but nonetheless abuse. However, I over-dramatized my slaps, yelled, and turned the shower on to make him meow. The bottle I sprayed him with was nothing but water too. A spray bottle for my dumb emo hair back then. Soon after the event, we took him to the vet where they said he was perfectly healthy and one happy feline. The cat was not taken from us. I adopted him out. I was not arrested for animal abuse. I was charged with public outrage. My parents did not pay for my fines. I worked and paid for all my fines, fees, and my lawyer. Thousands of dollars. I also did 100 plus community service hours and volunteered at the local animal clinic for over a year. What happened in your point of view? Bored, stupid teenager trying to get a reaction from people. What happened is what happened, and I am dumb for it and regret it to this day. And it should be reiterated that this account was never verified, so we don't know that it was actually Kenny Glenn, but I do think it's very likely that this is the true outcome of what happened to him. Oh, and he did make one other post from the account. Today I learned you can purchase human leather products. Take that for what you will. And thus concludes the story of the cat abuser Kenny Glenn. If you like this video, you'll probably also like my video about the internet versus Scientology. I'm out of here.